everything was manual. You opened every valve with your hand.
Right.
Here, 99% of that brew house is automated.
Whoa!
And
so is AI taking your job at this point?
Basically. So we have three computers upstairs that we use, and that's how we brew, basically.
Right.
I mean, and it was very intimidating when I first started doing it, because like I said, I was coming from a completely manual system. But
where you had to set alarms on your own, and you actually had to make sure you were checking. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm learning something new.
That's true.
So I still enjoy that side of it too. It's just some days, you get that itch, and you're like, okay, well, I don't feel like making this beer today. I want to make something weird.
Yeah.
I want to make, and with us being a production brewery, there's certain things I wanted to make a oyster stout for years.
I think that's starting to become far more popular. I know I went to Odd Muse and they were talking about making one, and
I saw those guys made. I think it was a collaboration with Celestial, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
It was.
I forget.
It was some. Yeah, I talked to them, and maybe
it was Vector.
It was Vector. You're right. It was Vector.
But I was super jealous when they made that beer. And actually, a guy who trying to remember he's a local home brewer in Allen.
Okay.
And he calls himself Sucka MC Brewing. So but yeah, he came up here, he was like, yeah, me and my buddy made an oyster stout, will you try it? And he brought me, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
that's the kind of beer we have on the East Coast. And
my girlfriend's from New Orleans, and some of the breweries I'd gone to down there, like, I know one or two of them that had it, and I was like, that's super interesting.
With us being a production facility, you get into shellfish allergies and stuff like that. And so they're like, so
probably a peanut butter or peanut envy is probably not going to happen here.
Well, to be honest, my peanut envy was made with ingredients that is completely allergy free.
How'd you do that?
I found a company that makes these amazing additives, oils that I used in it, and I used it for the chocolate and the peanut butter, and they're all allergy free. So that was one of the things I really pushed when I was at Steam Theory. So people be like, "Oh, I can't have peanut butter," but yeah, you can. This won't kill you. So yeah, that was one of the fun things I liked about that beer a lot. I'm very proud of that beer. That was first beer I ever had on tap anywhere that was mine, and we had a label for it.
There you go.
Somebody's texting me. Oh, it's my son. My youngest has a iPhone now.
Oh, nice.
And he
blue texter.
Yeah, got lots of texts from him.
How old are your kids?
I have a 20-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Wow, giant age gap there.
Oh yeah. So
you got a built-in babysitter, really. So well, at 12 they don't really need a babysitter.
We thought we were done, but then we had one more, and
unplanned miracle, I think.
Yeah.
Now, you said that you guys have started to have some tap room exclusives that you guys get to mess around with, and like you said, have that build that team morale. What are some other ones that you guys have kind of messed with, and what are some ones that we can look forward to?
We have one we're working on right now. It's I wrote the recipe for it. It's a big Russian Imperial Stout.
Okay.
That we're trying to get, if we can get it ready for the brewery's anniversary is 11/11/11.
Oh, okay.
So this year is 12 years, if I remember correctly.
Years. Jeez.
So we were trying to push that out for the anniversary party. Right now I brewed a Rogan beer that's on tap right now.
Okay. For those that don't know, can you explain what a Rogan beer is? Because some of them are like, Joe Rogan has his own beer?
It's basically a rye IPA.
Okay.
I love rye.
Yeah.
Like
Rye's delicious.
I'm a huge whiskey. Rye whiskey is my thing. And
Do you have a favorite rye whiskey?
Not really.
Okay.
Like, to be honest, like I live in Sherman,
right.
and when I moved to Sherman, one of the things I did was Iron Root Republic is right up the road from us. And so I like showed up there and was like, hey guys, I live here now and we're buddies.
Yeah.
And I would bring beer, and I got barrels from them. I did a lot of barrel aging with their barrels over at Steam Theory. And we became good friends, and I drink a lot of Iron Root.
Plus, I know they work with 903 quite a bit too.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah. And if I'm not drinking Iron Root, it's cheap rot gut whiskey, pretty much. The old granddad or something, you know. I mean, it's some of those brands are better than you think.
True. Yeah.
So I was drinking what was it the other day? Old Tub Bottle and Bond.
Okay.
And it was like less than $20 for a bottle of that.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
There you go.
I mean,
that's the thing.
Can't beat that.
A lot of people think that. So I used to sell wine for 14 years. So people think that you have to spend a certain amount to get like a good wine or whiskey at this or rye or whatever. You don't. You can spend.
If you do your research, you can find
there's
something.
that also. Yeah. You have to do the research on it.
Yeah.
I will recommend. I know they're out of Fort Worth, but I know they distribute in the Metroplex. Blackland Distilling. They make a great rye. So if you get a chance,
I don't think I've ever had anything from them, and I've had a lot. When we were at Steam Theory, we tried to do as many collaborations with local distilleries as we could.
Hey,
we did it with Iron Root. We did it with Lone Elm.
Yeah.
We did it with Real Ales. I don't know what their spirit division is called.
Yeah, neither do I. I know Tufts is about to have their own as well.
Yeah.
Community also is having their own at this point. So,
my favorite though was it wasn't even a whiskey that we did. It was a God, what is that called? It's almost like a tequila, but it's not.
Oh, mezcal.
No.
Almost a tequila.
Yeah. It's made by Desert Door. Who is that?
Oh, I thought that was a tequila. Desert Door out of the Hill Country, right? Or we're figuring it out as we speak right now.
Maybe it is. Is it mezcal?
I say mezcal's got the more smoky.
No,
flavor.
it's so tall.
Oh, so tall. Okay.
So tall. Yeah, I drove out there and got a couple barrels from them, and we did an Imperial IPA aged in their barrels.
Ooh.
And it was one of the best beers I've ever made.
Okay.
So good. But I love to have fun like that. I love to do,
As you should, yeah.
Collaborations and, anything. Beer's supposed to be fun.
Exactly. I mean, it's art and science put together in the best way possible. And the collaboration of all of those things are amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, my wife makes fun of me because I nerd out over stuff. I mean, when we went home last time, I went to, my folks have a place in Delaware, so of course I went to Dogfish, and I was like a little kid, like, this is so cool. But, Yeah,
I've had their vodka and their gin, and they did some really good stuff.
They make some great beer.
Yeah.
They really do. And, but yeah, it's just, it's pretty neat to have a job that I'm excited about doing.
Yes. So you go home and do it too.
I mean, like I said before, I'm a cancer survivor. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Because, I was told, well, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to live through this. So I did.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it. I'm doing whatever I want.
Yeah.
And
tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
your life can change in literally an instant. Now, this one I normally ask people who have been at a brewery for a long time and been a brewer at a place for a long time, but I'll just ask you your entire brewing career. It's going to be a little hard. Top 3 favorite beers you've ever made.
That I've made?
Yeah.
Number 1 is Peanut Envy, because that is just tap. That's just really great. My second one, I believe we called it Bobby Night Ranger. And
I remember that name. What beer was this?
It was a barrel aged in iron root barrels, barley wine, American barley wine.
What was the ABV on that one?
I think it was right around 14.
Okay,
if I remember right.
Pretty low for what you just described.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to make.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. And I guess the third one would be. Did you ask for 3 or 5?
3.
The third one would be when I was at Steam Theory. I had an idea to make a beer. There was a gentleman who I'd have to look up his name, but he ended up passing away from the same leukemia, from the same cancer I had, and he was a home brewer.
Okay.
And he had a recipe for a beer that was called Janet's Brown Ale that he made for his wife.
Oh, that's nice.
And I don't know. So I went and I took his recipe but kind of rewrote it and tried to make it weird. I wanted to be like a honey brown ale.
Ooh.
So I threw Honey Nut Cheerios and shit in it, like just trying to make it hyped up. And I paid for everything. I bankrolled everything, all the ingredients, everything, and sat down with the owners of Steam Theory and was like, look, I want to do this beer. It's important to me. If I put it on tap, can we do this beer and all the proceeds get donated to the Leukemia Foundation?
Wow.
And they were like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that, I'm super proud of that.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it just helping other people. I get off on that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I love that.
I think more people need to help
I'm very proud of that.
That's fantastic. Now, I asked earlier. I started talking earlier about this is a production brewery, and you took me on a tour. Can you kind of what does a week look like in a production brewery that most people probably don't think about because they think of the smaller breweries and they don't think the mass distribution when it comes to the beer?
There's a lot of things you don't think about. Part of my job, because I'm the lead brewer, is I have to schedule all of our spent grain pickups.
Okay.
So, I mean, when I was at Steam Theory, we'd have a couple of barrels of grain, and we had a local farmer come get it. Now we've got 33,000 pounds of grain
God damn.
in a silo that I have to manage. Make sure it's picked up before we put more grain in and overflow the silo. And
that's over 15 tons, right?
Oh,
a ton is 2,000.
So. Yeah.
Okay. I was making sure my conversion rate was right.
it that part is something I didn't think about as a brewer.
So where does it all go?
I have no idea.
Okay, so somebody comes, picks it up, and
there's a truck that I email the people, and I say, hey, I want you to come between this time and this time on this day, and they show up.
Wow. Okay.
So I haven't looked into it any more than that.
Yeah.
But other than that, production brewing is just it's different from regular brewing, and that's kind of why I like it, because I'm learning more about brewing.
True.
I'm learning, I come from traditional, you turn the valves and you turn, hands-on brewing, and this is a little different. And in this day and age, learning a computer isn't that
not the worst thing in the world.
It's a pretty good idea.
I mean, we all have computers in our pockets at all times anyway. So yeah. Well, let's say Deep Ellum Blanc, the Dallas Blanc. About how much do y'all make a week?
A week?
Yeah, because obviously it's